Welcome to Canada's Entrepreneur, where we talk to the entrepreneurs who are making it happen across Canada and deliver the news, trends, knowledge, and opinions from entrepreneurs and business influencers across the country.
Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Managing Editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. My guest today on Calgary's podcast is Chris Tutty, who is an artist and an entrepreneur in Calgary. Thanks for joining us today, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, I noticed the colorful background you have, and are those some of your works of art?
Yeah, they sure are. My house is definitely a very colorful place. A lot of my artwork hangs within it. You can't get overspray on it, so I can't really leave it in the shop, so to say.
Yeah. So tell me just a little bit about what you do, Chris. And
For the most part, I've always inspired to be an artist. I mean, I've definitely gone down different channels in life and occupations, but it's kind of brought me full circle back to artwork. And as an artist, I think, you always need to be pursuing it in one way or another in life. And so in life's endeavors, full circle, I'm back to being a full-time artist in my middle life, I guess you could call it.
And what are your subject material?
Well, I think that as a young kid, they definitely tried to pigeonhole anybody as an artist. You're going to be a wildlife artist, or you're going to be a cartoonist, or, one of the most popular but most challenging aspects of art is definitely portrait art. I mean, if one little mistake, you don't capture the nose properly, or the lips, or the eyes. So I gravitated more towards celebrity art and music, because I'm involved in a lot of music, as well as some of the entertainments and the arts as well. So that gravitated towards that. So I do a lot of portraits, and I try to get some famous people to sign those portraits, and then in turn do good. So I have a different business model than most. I'm not in a lot of galleries anymore. I like to at least give half the proceeds of my artwork to any type of a worthy cause.
Well, interesting. Yeah. So give me I guess a range of some of the most interesting portraits you've done, or if you felt you've done over the years.
Wow. It's, you're always trying to jump the shark, as they say. I don't know if it's a term that a lot of people would understand nowadays, but in the TV show Happy Days, of course, when the ratings went down, Fonzie had to jump a shark. So for me, I go, it's always, what have you done lately? 3 years ago, I had the opportunity of meeting Kevin Costner, getting him to sign some artwork for me. And we raised money for the Veterans Association. We raised over $40,000 with that. So
Whoa.
That was amazing. And I think that the more transparency, the more honesty that with people, the easier it is to connect with successful people. And I think that that's where a lot of us miss the boat, is that transparency, showing people and giving a fair accounting of where the artwork goes and what cause that it goes to. So things have definitely been easier for me. I have a lot of people that, in my corner, not just family and friends, but, lifelong family friends. People like Bill Brown from Elevated Auctions has supported my artwork. Steve Gillis is a big supporter as well. We do music for mental health. So, when you get a good group of people around you that believe in you and believe what you do, you're only going to get better.
Mm. Who are some of the people you've met along the way? Some of the most famous people.
Well, Morgan Freeman was one. I was able to do some artwork for the Tallahassee River Foundation. So he's big into that, and it's actually bringing education to the kids. It's a lot of people don't really understand the way of life. Like even in New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina, like the amount of people that are actually living in the sticks in actual poverty. So that was a pretty big accomplishment for me. That got me a lot of attention. As well, the Kevin Costner thing, through Music for Mental Health and Steve Gillis, I've gotten the chance to meet everybody from Kiss to Metallica to Ozzy Osbourne. So And I think it's really neat that, a lot of us are surrounded by yes people. It's good to encourage people, I think, but at the same time, if you're not really on the right career path, I don't know if you always need that encouragement. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but maybe somebody needs to tell somebody sometimes that, you're not really that good at this. But it means a lot to me when you see somebody whose image has been immortalized, has been painted, been created a million times over, and they look at what you created and you can see that little spark in their eye. Like, I think Ice Cube was a big one for me. He's a pretty hardcore gangster, and that's his persona. And when he signed the painting of me, I could see that little twinkle in his eye, like he'd approved of what I had created. And I really try to tell a story through my artwork. I think that's really important to try and get into the subject matter and to understand it and to appreciate it. So that's part of my journey, I guess. But the nice thing is that I'm able to not only move people emotionally with my artwork, but also to contribute back. And I think a lot of people don't really understand the sense of community and how important it is to give back and to have a purpose in life or a mission that makes you feel good about looking in the mirror every day.
Yeah. Now, we ran into each other a little while ago at the Calgary Blues Festival, and
that was fun.
You
look like you were having fun.
Yeah, had a great time. So
it's
you
had
a nice little tent there with stuff that you were selling, and one of the things that drew my attention was a picture you had of the Hanson brothers of Slapshot movie fame, and you joined them with glasses and all. What was it like? That's kind of an iconic movie for Canadians who love hockey, right?
The rest of my office, if you're able to see past the cameras in the other direction, are actually pictures of all the Hanson brothers here up in my office right now. So I've got Jeff here, I've got Steve Hanson here, I've got Jack. I've really became really good friends with Dave Hanson, as well as Steve Carlson, who portrays Steve Hanson on the show. So they've bought my mugs. They've used my images for autograph signings. These guys are just amazing ambassadors for hockey. Never, my whole life I dreamed of being a hockey player, but unfortunately I didn't grow until a lot later in life. So I had a broken collarbone and I still have some issues with my shoulder. But, I've got to hang out with them several times as well. I know Murray Fiegel did an event with them too as well, where they came down, and we've just had a lot of laughs and joking around. But as for international, like the Hanson brothers are it for hockey. Like, you go to the States, in the United States, and Gretzky's popular, but hockey isn't really that big of a thing when it comes to artwork. But the Hanson brothers, that's a sure hit. And those guys they're hilarious. They're a lot of fun. So I've really enjoyed my time working with those guys.
Okay, let's get back at in terms of the actual art of what you do. How long usually does it take you to do a portrait?
Oh, I definitely think with time people develop in-home skills. I mean, one skill I've really had to learn is organization. So you really need to attack a lot of artwork, unfortunately, like you would any type of a business deal, I guess, or, whether it's you're making a movie, whether you're building a house, you need to look at the financial aspect of it. I mean, sometimes it takes me up to a month to paint a picture. Now, if that painting doesn't sell, or, I've also realized that sometimes high-end artwork, it doesn't always sell. So you need to look at the bigger picture. Are you painting something that could be marketable in other areas? So, a lot of artists think they're too good to go out and press flash or meet people. And so I've kind of thought, that's stupid. Why not go out to events, meet people, have a little bit of a mobile art gallery, like a bit of a vendor thing, and make your artwork accessible to everybody. So in order to cut out the middleman, I've done everything from learning how to make ceramic mugs with my images on it, keychains, smaller bottle openers, even chapstick holders,
Yeah.
Coasters, you name it, in order to kind of bring my art to those people and to market it. But like you said, sometimes I spend a month painting something, it might not sell all the time. It's like it could be like an exotic car. You got to find the right person, and there's very small markets. So baseball is bigger in the States than it is in Canada. Hockey is bigger in Canada. Oilers paintings don't sell very well in Calgary because of the Battle of Alberta, right?
Yeah.
Calgarians are pretty stubborn in that way. In fact, I think it was only up until about maybe 15 years ago that you were allowed to really wear an Oilers jersey and feel safe at the Saddledome.
True.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just curious. So a good friend of mine is a fellow artist, Paul Van Ginkel, and
wow, I got mad respect for that guy. He's been around and at it for years, and and I can see he's starting to evolve too, marketing wise.
Yeah, well, and you know what? I've known Paul for close to 40 years, I guess. And one of the things that he always said to me is that he had two jobs, right? He had the job of being the artist, then he had the job of being the business person. How do you, he's got his hat on. How do you feel about that? How do you juggle the two aspects of what you do?
I'm not going to lie to you. It is really hard, but if you want to succeed in life, you got to wear many hats, my friend. You got me. I am the web designer. I'm the graphic artist, the graphic designer. I do all of my reels for, like yourself. I edit, I create the content, I write the content. Because you're becoming more of a professional artist, it's expected for you to come up with a title for the artwork, a description, possibly even your experience. Like I called the Stevie Ray Vaughan painting Texas Pride, because back in the day, he's a Texan, and he's got that song Pride and Joy. But when I first met him as a kid at the Jubilee Auditorium, us as kids wanting to be cool and be adults, we also used to drink Texas Pride, which was a non-alcoholic beer that you could buy in the grocery store. So I know what it's like having to maintain all these aspects. And if you don't, I make mugs and sell them to people for $10. And still make a profit because I make those mugs myself with my proprietary images on it. But to get the same mug made at a cheap place like Walmart, it costs $16. So if you know the laws of business, you got to sell something for at least 3 times that amount. No one's going to buy an 11-ounce mug for $60, are they?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Do you have a routine?
I'm getting into a better routine, I think.
Yeah.
With my artwork, trying to focus days where it might be more computer work or uploading new images or new product to my website. But life is not routine, Unfortunately. I do try to motivate myself with events. I try to target market them. Just because it's a blues event, you could say, B.B. King and Stevie Ray Vaughan aren't going to do well, but I found out that was not the case, that spending the time motivating myself to create some artwork for a special event, it went really well, but sometimes you go to golf tournaments and now I'm selling Taylor Swift stuff to dads for their daughters or grandfathers for their granddaughters. So, it used to be more hockey and sports orientated, but, somebody as popular as Taylor Swift, there's a need and a niche for those type of things. And again, if you get too pigeonholed into only painting certain type of things, like I see Paul, for instance, he did a beautiful Mick Jagger painting where he used to only horses or chuck wagons or different type of still life. I think you got to always be jumping that shark and trying to reach out to different people. And this artwork's on my wall here. It's not going to sell itself. So you got to get out there and meet people too as well. And I think I'm becoming a little more recluse like that in my I don't go out to bars as much anymore or nightclubs. I'm not that young partying buck anymore, but I do go to a lot of charitable events. We got the chance to sit down at the Sin Lux Society. And again, there was a Taylor Swift painting up for grabs there. Yeah. Before her, it was always Marilyn Monroe. So she was the one that always made me successful as an artist.
So I guess, Chris, you've got to sort of be on top of the current pop culture, right? To see who's popular and who's not. Like, how do you do that? How do you stay on top of that?
Oh, it's cool that you asked that. Like, even talking to my dad, he had paid for a Netflix family account, right, for me and his grandkids and stuff like that. And then he still continually pays and allows me to use it. And his only reason to justify was that you kind of got to be up to date with current pop culture. And so definitely I do watch a lot of TV. In my foyer, I have a big picture of Peaky Blinders, Thomas Shelby from the show Peaky Blinders too as well. And that's done well. So you definitely, that's something I learned from my grandfather too. Just because you weren't born when it didn't happen, doesn't mean that you don't have to be relevant about that. And they were huge supporters of my artwork. It was almost embarrassing. Like any painting that I ever did, and I spent a long time on it, they would have it framed. And back in the day, I like to paint on gallery-wide canvas. So I'll even paint on the sides, right? Oh, yeah. But back in the day, like they used to mat it, frame it, put museum-quality glass on it, frame it. So, you take a painting that you've done or even a piece of paper and next thing you know, you're spending $1,500 to $2,000 just to frame a picture. So my grandparents always framed my artwork and put it up there. But my grandfather, like you said, you got to be aware of it just because you weren't born at a certain time. And I think you see some of the newer generation, they're like, oh, well, I wasn't around, so why should I know that? Well, we learn from life's lessons, and history does repeat itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Do you spend a lot of time down south in California, LA?
Yeah, I do spend a lot of time in Los Angeles for sure.
Yeah. And why is that?
I think that there's a little bit more of an era of creativity there, and there's a little more freedom, especially when it comes to spending. I think that if somebody really likes something and they want it, they got to have it. You got those Orange County, the First Wives of Orange County. And I've got a lot of good friends and networks. A really good friend of mine, Josh Morrow, who works on Young and the Restless too as well. And he's promoted a lot of my artwork too as well. It's just a great guy and all around type of person that most people would aspire to be in a career in Hollywood. I like going to bars too that promote music, and the Rainbow Bar and Grill. I got a lot of friends that they're there. They have the Lemmy Lounge there too as well. So California is a cool culture. It really does embrace the arts too as well. Yeah, I think that Calgary could definitely be a little bit more like that. I know Edmonton has the Fringe Fest and stuff like that too as well. But unfortunately, there just isn't as much money in Canada as there is in the U.S. And I don't know if we can blame Trump for that, but I try to avoid politics and religion at all costs when it comes to business, and that seems like a good business model for me too.
Would you ever do any political portraits?
I've been no, I did paint Ronald Reagan. Funny that you should say that. And my buddy Josh has it in his dressing room in Los Angeles on the set of Young and the Restless. But that was probably the only one I did. I really did look up growing up in the 80s as a kid to Ronald Reagan. I thought it was kind of neat that here's an actor to become president. I used to follow he liked jelly beans. I like jelly beans. I like acting. He was in a lot of the old time Westerns. And I do remember him as a young kid saying, "Tear down that wall." And I think sometimes that's what we need is a leader that has as much power in the words that he says as the actions and the things that he does. I guess Nancy Reagan was a little offside, but again, I don't want to talk too much about politics, but just say no to drugs, which was a big spiel too as well. And, drugs are a big part of the epidemic too as well. So me, I try to clean living. I just came from the gym before I saw you. I try to paint from 6 in the morning till 2, and I just try to look after my health as I get older too.
Yeah, don't we all? Well, that was excellent. Well, thanks so much, Chris, for joining us today.
It's a lot of fun, man. It's always fun running into you, and I followed your career for a long time. So, what motivates you to get out of bed every day?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. That's a good question some days, right?
Yes. Well, thanks, man.
One last question. How do people get in touch with you? Where then find you?
I'm becoming very Googleable now, but I think that they spell my name Tuddy. It's an Irish name, Tutty, Tuddy. But definitely wildwesthollywood.ca is a website that I painstakingly worked on over the Christmas holidays. So I'm always taking feedback and trying to make that better. But that's a whole nother world. You need to know the shipping weights of your artwork, how much it weighs in boxes and everything. But that would be the best way. Or hey, if you're out and about in Calgary, or you got an event or a charity, contact me on my website, and if there's a way that I can help you out with some artwork, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thanks so much, Chris, again for joining us today.
All right, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Okay, that was Chris Tutty, who is an artist and entrepreneur based in Calgary. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, managing editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. Thanks for joining us today.